And to get more insights, we have Ambrose Somodion, is the Chief Research Officer at Invest Data Consulting, joining us. It's good to have you here this evening, Mr. Ambrose. Well, we've seen what's happening with the global markets here. We've seen downturn for the U.S. market, Asia markets, European markets, all stocks falling hard in September. We also see the NGX falling really down here. Is it the September effect at play here? Or is this a trend we should expect for the month of September?
Well, actually, the month of September is already, for me, looking at the history data, it's a mixed month, very dicey month. And if you check what is happening already around the world, looking at the fear of, weaker demand, and at the same time seeing that the Fed is planning to kind of cut rate, that sentiment is still moving the market up and down. But generally, if you look at the history data, I said September is a down market globally. But in Nigeria, like I said earlier in one of the programs, that out of 26 years in Nigeria, the market was down for 15 years, just up for 11. That means it's still about a negative month for Nigeria market. For me, it's a trend, But the good thing is that the month of September always usher investors into the last quarter of the year. Because there's a pullback in that September, people buy stock at a lower price to expect a kind of rebound when we start seeing full year third quarter earnings from the companies. At the same time, seeing that end of the year seasonality and sentiment start coming up for the end of the year.
Although many people believe that this downturn we see in September, you've mentioned the September effect is as a result of people, reshuffling their portfolios after the summer holiday, or they're trying to go for summer, or trying to, after the summer holiday. But most professionals and economists discount this. They don't believe in this September effect because they say it goes against the market efficiency, that market is not supposed to just have a calendar where it's supposed to have a month where it's going to go down. Historically, do you think this is the right position to take right now, or will we see a turnaround in September for Nigeria?
No, actually, we technicians believe that the trend repeats itself. And because of that, it does that. There's a trend in any economy. It's also any market. Seasonality comes from different sectors, either from month, from government policy, even from the general movement of the quarter by quarter. For me, September, we have seen for the past year, is a missed month. Whether it's taking either we are economists or we are doing just a sentiment. For me, every investor in the market, I will know that in September, in mature economy, sell in May, come back in October. It's for a purpose. No, why is it come back in October is that as October starts seeing third quarter result of company that has 12 calendar month as their financial year. That means you have to come and start buying before it starts. That's why I said sell in May and come back in October. For me, September is a month that, for me, is a good month for investors to buy low to position for end of the quarter. What we're seeing in Nigeria is already the first week of September. We've seen already a missed market. And also, all eyes is still on world economic data to come from Bureau of Statistics in terms of inflation. Now, I also look at what has happened the last 40 days in the environment that we have seen cues all over the nation. It's going to impact on inflation. We're also smiling that in the month of July, we saw a slowdown in inflation figure. But what we've seen now everywhere, prices are going to go because of what? High cost of transportation. That means we expect to see kind of inch up inflation figure for the month of August. That also will change cycle of investors. Okay, will the MPC come in? There will be a hole in interest rate because of we're seeing already inflation looking up for August. That's why, for me, this trend will continue. That's why I say, for me, September is a month that will see out of position your portfolio, and also sector rotation will continue against what? Against the last quarter of the year. Okay. Because anywhere in the world, last quarter of the year is a very active quarter.
I know you have a lot to say about that inflation figure coming up, but just very quickly, we saw FBN Holdings this week announcing that it has agreed to sell 100% of its equity stake in its subsidiary FBN Quest Merchants Bank to EverQuest Acquisition. And this comes, you see this tussle between the FBN within that organization, between the share ownership between Barbican and Capital and the company. Do you think right now this move by FBN Holdings, rather, to sell a subsidiary of FBN Merchant Bank is a good move? And how do you think it will impact on investors' sentiment at the moment?
Actually, if you look at what is happening in FBN Holding, shows that there's a lot of confusion there. And investors are already wary of what is going on because the previous year, they went against court order, they did their AGM. They wanted to repeat the same thing for 2023, which, they've cancelled the AGM, also slowed down their primary market activities. But this attitude of kind of a move to sell subsidiary, why other banks are going to a holding company so that they can boost their bottom line with holding company. And also, for me, I believe that it is send a signal that investors in this kind of holding should also play with caution. Because if you are kind of screening up your asset or your subsidiary for one reason, yes, it's good that at the first point you may have cash, they're expecting cash to come from the transaction, but in the long run, this market maker also contributed to bottom line of FBN holding before now. Why is selling off at this time? There's something strong that the public don't know or investors in that market know. I believe that by now, none of the investors in that market have been communicated that why they are selling this off to their investors. But I believe that investors also have to think that when 2 or 3 elephants fight, it is the ground that suffer. If you're a minor investor or a minority investor in LBN holding, have to think twice. Are you going to hold on or leave the big men to fight their fight? Then come back, because I know that what is happening there is about power tussling, who will be this one. And that is why, for me, for those that are design investors, the retail ones, what are you doing there? Go elsewhere and make money. We are seeing other opportunity in the market. Leave the after they fight and see the direction, cannot come back to the bank.
So we abandon the FPN holding for now. Come back. Let them solve their problems, exactly. And then we come back to them. That's harsh, rather harsh. But let's look at what the CBN is saying now for August PMI. We were talking about inflation earlier. We're looking at business activities in the country. We see CBN report saying that business activities have picked up as it went above the 50% threshold. 50 points threshold rather. But we also seen the Stanbic reported in the same month of August that the PMI went, it was up, but at 49.9%. So there's a bit of contradiction here. But in the whole matter, what concerns Nigerians is what we see, what we feel, and what we hear. They are not aligned because right now there are fuel queues. We're seeing hardship in the country. Businesses are struggling. So are you saying really that this data is the true reflection of what the people are experiencing?
Actually, in any market, data is to guide investment decision. As there been no release to the public, for you to digest and know where to prove your money. That's why sector decision I said is already very important. If you look at what I said earlier, that in the month of July, we saw a slowdown in inflation. We're celebrating that, yes, this is the third quarter of the year. In August, we saw expansion in economic activities as reviewed by the data from CBN and also from Islamic IBTC that, yes, we saw improved business activities, improved economic activity, that means an expansion. Then, in the month of September, we are entering, I've already seen that fuel queue has come to kind of counter what we have seen, because when there is increase in price of pump price, we're going to reflect, because I tell you earlier that before we went out with that, oil and gas sector is as important as bank in any economy. That means because energy is very, very important when it comes to running the activities of business or kind of production. If there's cost, hike or increase in oil and gas, it has a way of splitting other sector of the economy. For me, that means if government really want to really change the whole activity, this is time for them to sit down and work, because as we are seeing another hike, in pump price of fuel, that's going to tell you that cost of production will going to go up. That means inflation that we are celebrating that slowed down in the month of July is going to reverse. That means we have to think twice. That means we have say 2 steps forward and 4 steps backward. We don't want to continue that way. Let all these policies somersault. That is why the monetary policy and the fiscal to shake hands and make that we put things in the direction that the economy will enter a part of recovering or part of growth. Because as we speak now, that's why we saw a second quarter GDP that was positive. I said earlier that figure is just for us to wait. But what we are seeing now, we are going from the next quarter GDP for third quarter.
Okay, so while we watch and see the numbers that will be released by the National Bureau of
investors
Statistics,
should use these figures to continue to reward their post. Why? We have seen Q2 number, or as I see on Q3 number in October, that also guide us to where to put that from. Because whether the economy is moving on with, there's always a sector where you can make money in the market. That's why I say continue to review your portfolio and also do sector rotation in any market you are playing.
So knowledge is power. You need to always know how to read the market and position yourself for growth. Well, what you mentioned that the inflation will definitely go up. What are your expectations? What numbers are you seeing here? And what are expectations as the central bank meets in September this month to decide interest rates? What do you think the central bank is going to do as a result of what we're seeing in the country?
For me, I think there should be a whole situation, whether not adjust down or up. Let's watch again, because the dynamics that is playing up in the oil and gas sector have impact in monetary policy. That's why I said the two organs have to work together, because anything that happens is going to affect their decision. Now that, yes, we are seeing what Dangote has come on stream to do with what we are seeing, and also CBN is coming to their MPC meeting in this same month. They have to see the figure for the month of August first before the continuation. But I believe that whether there's a kind of hike or a kind of let's say an increase or an inch up for the month of September, August, let the monetary policy leave interest, because if you talk another interest rate again, where we are seeing hike in energy, we are also increasing interest, NPR in Nigeria, that means you're going to kill this economy.
Talking of killing economies, what should we expect from companies that are listed from the real sector that are listed on the NGX as a result of all this? What should we expect?
For me, when we had that expansion in the month of August, that would be like a form of a release for investors and also operators. That means, okay, the order time has improved. That means consumption gradually also going back to bring the raw materials, it has improved. But with this hike again, I'll tell you, increase of items and purchasing power of Nigeria also, because as I speak now, I'm not believing that they started paying 70,000 naira minimum wage. And also that also tell you that as price is going up, it's going to affect consumption. And those companies that are producing, their goods remain on the shelf because of what sales is low. That has the work of affecting. But I believe that between now and the next MPC meeting and end of this quarter, I think they should leave, NPR to stay stable and watch the next, 2 months to see out there. Because I believe that all this changing we are saying, kind of, up and down in the oil and gas sector has the way of affecting the general economy.
Definitely. Consumers would definitely adjust their consumption pattern right now. And we're also going to hope that, as you mentioned, the central bank will hold rates to be able to see and let's breathe and see where the economy will go from there.
If you are hacking cost of energy, oil and gas, and also increasing rate again, the same economy, no.
We'll take a moment now. Capital Market continues right after the break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Now, on Tuesday, September the 3rd, Dangote Refinery announced that it had commenced the production of premium motor spirits, popularly known as petrol. And this comes amid the harsh fuel scarcity crisis faced by Nigerians. Reactions have been pouring in, and top financial experts and MD CEO Flame Academy and Consulting Limited even suggested a possible collaboration between Dangote Refinery and O&O. Let's take a listen.
O&O can bring out the best out of this asset, and that's going to help Nigeria, ramp up our crude oil production, help reduce gas flaring, and turn our gas into very useful asset in our families, empowering our plants, and also, very importantly, create jobs for Nigerians, and also much more, give a big opportunity for the Nigerian banks to play big time in this sector. It's all positive, and it's also very inflow positive for Nigeria, because there's no more repatriation of FX earnings by the international companies. There's no more, playing game with accounting and so on. I only pray that NNPC and other regulators will ensure that we support this indigenous initiative to be a big player in this sector. And mind you, if O&O does their job very well, you find that they will take over this market in Africa. Once they get proper funding from the banking sector, you find that whether it is exploration and development of project sites in Ghana or Kenya and other parts of Africa where we have oil and gas resources, this is a big thing for Nigeria. And again, with AFTA, that's the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, this is a very big plus for Africa to supply other African nations with crude oil and even refined petroleum. And again, Dangote is likely to have a better deal with O&O than any other IOC.
Interesting remark there. We still have Ambrose Omodion, Chief Research Officer, Invest Data Consulting, here with us in the studio. Mr. Ambrose, what do you think about this proposal of a possible collaboration between Dangote Refinery and O&O, especially with the controversy around crude oil supply, the availability of crude oil in the country for refiners, and also O&O being one of the foremost major players in the oil and gas sector, that's the upstream sector. How do you see this?
When we look at the history of Nigeria and the oil sector, this is a major sector that drives Nigeria activities. I tell you that every business in Nigeria is tied to energy and gas. That means if we get it right in the oil sector, our economy will be put in the right path. I believe that is the time for the regulator and the government to sit and know that, yes, if we can refine our crude oil, our backyard, it's better for us to sell in Naira, also for us to drive the economy first before you think about any even dollar. And I know that, yes, already Nigeria are trying to turn Nigeria to a dollar economy. But I tell you, satisfy your economy first, put Nigeria in the path of growth. You attract foreign investors to Nigeria. Now that they could have done it after 28 years of up and down. Now we can see that in Nigeria we can refine our crude oil. Yes, also government refinery, I said by end of this September or 1st October, the one that they have been put in place also start refining. This means that we're going to produce within our locality. That means we should pay attention to what happens in pricing now. Because as I said earlier, anything that happened at this point, we have seen the recent increase in price. Yes, Dangote and Owando coming together is possible, but these are private businesses because just a suggestion can give to them. But if you where they can marry together to make Nigeria benefit from this sector, is good. I welcome it so that at the end of the day we'll have a bigger refinery, a bigger gas center in Nigeria, so that everybody in Nigeria will smile. And I tell you that will ease a lot of things in Nigeria. Because when two of them come together, we're able to get the right price of the oil, petroleum, and also for gas. I will tell you, it will kind of give a kind of recovery in the economy, because before now we have about GDP 5 to 6% GDP like about 10 years ago. We've been struggling below 4% GDP for how many years now? If this sector can be put right, I would say it's going to kind of be a boost for the economy. I love the suggestion of the guests we just listen to, but I believe that is the right way to go. But one thing again is that because these are private business, it's now look at where they can come together, because as we speak, they are all local operators. It's better they come together and make sure that things work out for the benefit of Nigeria. And also the regulators should give them the right guidance, and also let the regulator move that, let this be not only to make money for government. Let's satisfy Nigeria first. Let Nigeria be happy, come the part of growth before taking off revenue. Revenue will come when you get it right.
And you've spoken about regulators and the governments, supporting these local players here. We saw the Minister of Petroleum, Minister of State for Petroleum and Oil, that's Mr. Heineken Lokobiri, charging O&O on Thursday to ramp up his production to 100,000 barrels per day. Currently, O&O does about 30,000 barrels per day. Do you think this is possible, especially with the current oil theft we're seeing, the occurrences we're seeing here and there? And if it is possible, what would this mean for O&O's company's share price, especially now that it has joined the 1 trillion naira club in terms of the suit, the stocks with what 1 trillion naira in the economy right now? What do you think this means for O&O?
Actually, if you listen to O&O very well, if you look at their data, O&O started, this move far 2014 or even before 2014 when they acquired Philippe Konogos. What they do that is for them to have experience with up and down. And you can say one day I have not paid dividend for 8 years, 10 years. But with that Philippe Konogos deals, they understand the IOC, they understand how to navigate that terrain. Now they are going to acquiring almost 40% of Ajib. That means O&O is well positioned to run a bigger deal. That is why, for me, the experience they've gathered from that, even though people say they didn't pay money, but I believe that was a learning curve for them. Now they have this kind of asset. O&O will do magic. That is why if before the minister will point to them, go and take your production from 50 or 30 to 100, he knows that they have the capacity. And that's why investors in O&O should also think medium and long. And because why? You don't overnight to say O&O turn 300 or turn 400 overnight. But when O&O become more transparent, we start seeing figures coming from O&O start keep up to corporate governance. That's the stock investors should go forward for medium and long term. Even for traders, why? There's a lot of value that O&O is sitting on now. And that's why before the president comes in, we also analysts have seen that there's a lot of value in O&O. For me, it's the right time to buy O&O if you want to take it. But because of the sector they're operating, I'll tell you, people say that, crude oil will still fade up. I tell you, no. O&O is playing in power. They are playing in clean energy. They are playing in crude oil. For me, they are already positioned to take advantage of all the things that happen in the oil sector. For me, I say kudos to them, but only that we need them to bring that expert they've gathered from Konogos D's to come and play out work in this new asset they have acquired and bring that expertise to them, and also let O&O move on with positive numbers, and also keep it to corporate governance, and also give communication to the investing public to know where they are going. That will make O&O to turn around overnight in terms of price averaging on the exchange. But we need profit to support your price, because when you are doing well, you are putting positive number, your price will go up because investors are looking at your earnings and your price.
Okay, so speaking of earnings and price, what are our expectations for O&O? They're set to release their results this September, right? Yes,
we expect to see their audited accounts for 2023. Personally, as analysts also invest in the market, 2023 is a vast information we're looking at. We want to see what O&O have done for first quarter 2024 and second quarter. It will also see at the end of this September. But once we see their performance, Q1 and Q2, investors in the market will know what to do. If not, we are seeing a great improvement. This is where they are pointing, because we have seen others in industry results. We're waiting to see O&O. When that results come, it's going to be a lot of boost for O&O if the numbers are positive.
So are they able to sustain? Do you think that we will be able to sustain the price now? They closed on Friday 81 naira, about 81 naira. You think that this rally with O&O can continue? Saying that you said the numbers that investors are expecting, we hope it's positive. You think they can sustain this rally?
If you can remember, in 2008, O&O hit as high as 290 naira of share price. After then, O&O has been on a downtrend. Now, the thing have reversed. And not only reversed, there are factors driving the reverse. Even though we have not seen the figure, when we are expanding your capacity, you are growing your capacity, at the end of the time, impacting your bottom line or your top line. But one in the market, as we speak, has the highest turnover in the market. 3.4 trillion, it shows that no company that posted 3.4 trillion as sort of turnover. We have seen over the years, at the bottom line, we're seeing about 74 billion, which is say, from 3.4 trillion. That means cost, then if I want to also become more prudent in terms of cost management, going forward, that was going to support them. But I believe that one has people for now. But to say, we're not seeing fundamental, one have not paid dividend for 8 years, for 10 years. That is past. We're looking at what the future information that will change the one do. And we're already seeing them. When we are expanding this, I said earlier, they are bringing the experience they've gotten from acquisition of Viliconogo and also what they have learned in that process and bring it to being in this situation. One will go places, unless they still go back to their world, to their dark days. But if they want to come to light, I wonder how the future. For me, investors that think light also should go with Oquando for now, because that is past. Past will not hold you down. It's future that matters. Your past performance is not guaranteed. It's future that we're looking at. So
the Oquando trade is the trade to be on right now.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Ambrose Omodion, Chief Research Officer, Invest Data Consulting. It's always good to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.